Hello everyone, this next video is going to cover how to model the next part for the wheel assembly in Fusion. Let's take a look here and see what our next part is. We modeled the base plate. Okay, the brace wheel support is another slightly more complex model. Okay, these last ones are a little easier. Let's just go in order. Okay, so to model the brace wheel support, I'm going to close out of this one, and I get a new file here. Okay, I'll close the data panel so I have a little more room, and I'm going to do a new sketch. But before I do a new sketch, let's see what I want to build. I usually start with the front view here. Okay, in most anything you model, there's many ways to model it. I think the easiest is to take this view, extrude it that thickness, then do a new rectangle and extrude that extra bit out so I get the L shape. Then I'll probably extrude this back kind of thickened circle on the back. Okay. Then we have the holes and we have some fillets, and then I think we're done. I have seen people build the bottom first and then extrude up, but you got these angles. Okay, so I'm going to start with this front view. And let's just start with what we know. 3.25 wide, 2.375 high. So new sketch, and I'll just pick, doesn't matter where you are really, rectangle. I think it's 3.25 wide, 2.375 high. Did I get it? Enter. 3.25 by 2.375. Is that right? 3.25, 2.375. Okay. Then we need to add this part that we didn't draw, this half curve, half circle. I know that the radius is 0.75, so I know from the very top to the midpoint is 0.75. Okay. So I could just draw a line up to get 0.75, or I could draw a 0.75 radius circle from the middle of the rectangle we just drew. Lots of ways to do it. I'm going to do it differently than the way last time I drew this. Okay, I'm going to take a circle. I'm going to find the midpoint, and it jumps to the midpoint. See, like eventually it finds it. And I'm going to make that. This is a diameter. Okay, over here we had a radius of 0.75, so we need to do a diameter of 2 times 0.75. So you can literally type 2 times 0.75. Okay, and you get a 1.5. So if you want to do it that way, you don't even have to do the math separately. Then we have to draw the angled lines. But if you look at this, the angled lines don't start at the very bottom. They start up. Okay, this thickness is not dimensioned anywhere. So that's bad dimensioning. But I'm going to assume that it's the same as that, because it looks like it's the same. So if that's 0.375, I need to draw a line up 0.375, so I know where to put this angled line from. Okay, 0.375. So I'm going to take a line tool, start at the corner, go up 0.375, enter. Okay, then I could draw another line across just to mark it over there. Well, I don't want an arc though, I want a line tool. Why is it wanting to do an arc? Okay, let's just forget about that and just draw another line up in here, 0.375, enter. Okay, then all I have to do is draw a line from this point tangent to the curve. Okay, and if you notice, if you hover along the curve, it puts you a little tangent symbol. You can kind of barely see it there. Okay, tangent. And then it tells you it's tangent. So I'm going to do, and you can't start at the circle because then it doesn't know where the tangent point starts. So you got to start at the bottom, go up, locate the tangent point. Where did it go? And this is a little weird because that tangent is not the same as that. Well, I guess it is. Those lines must line up. They don't seem like they do, but They do if I hover around. Okay. So you can see my shape. The only thing is I'm going to delete a bunch of dimensions that I don't need. It's usually a good idea to delete dimensions once you're done with them. I'm going to delete, I can't really delete this stuff without losing, I guess I can lose that line. Okay, but I can't lose this whole line because then I lose the bottom part. So what you want to do is use the trim tool. The trim tool lets you trim lines that are defined by other lines that cross. Okay, like that one. I'm going to hit escape a few times to get out of my trim tool because I want to delete this dimension. And I think I have a clean shape now. Then I can finish the sketch and I can extrude it into a 3D shape. That 3D shape is 0.375 thick. So we're going to go with this. I'm going to type, where did it go? 0.375, enter. Okay, and I have the start of my object. Then in order to extrude this piece forward, I have to define that in a new sketch. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to click on this, I'm going to right click, create a new sketch. Okay, you could just draw a line or you could draw a rectangle. If you just take a line from that point across to that point, then you have you can define this as a separate like rectangle, I think. Let's just see if it works. When I go to extrude, it lights up, so it is going to do what I want. Okay. This part comes out 1.5 minus that. So again, if you don't want to subtract this from that, you can just type it in. You can say this dimension will equal 1.5 minus 0.375. So I'm going to go extrude is already lit up, this, and I'm going to say 1.5 minus 0.375, enter. Okay, and now if I look at like if I spin this around, you can see it looks correct. All right. What do we want to do next? Maybe we'll put the hole and this bigger circular like thickened part in the back. Okay, so I'll do the hole first, I guess. 1-inch diameter hole. So I'm going to do a new sketch, right click, create a sketch. I need a circle. If I'm lucky, it finds the center point. If I'm unlucky, I need to draw a line. I'm going to do a line from here, and I'm going to go down. How big is that hole again? It's a 1-inch hole. The radius is 0.75, so if I go down from there to there, 0.75, I can find that point, okay? So I'm going to go down 0.75, enter. And now I can draw a circle using this as my center point of the circle and make that a 1. Okay, and then I'm going to escape a few times and delete this. And I'm going to delete this line. And I can even delete that. Okay, because that's all we needed was the hole. So then if I finish the sketch, I can extrude that. If I go, instead of going up, I go down negative 0.375, it automatically turns into a cut, and I say OK, and I have a hole. Then I'm going to do a thickened part on the back. So to find the back, I have to take this curve, or this corner, spin my part around, and I'm going to do a sketch on the back side. Okay. Let's see if I can find the center point this time. I think it can. There it is. And that, I think it'll just snap to the edge. Yep. Okay, or you can type 1.5. That's the part I'm going to extrude. Finish the sketch. Hit the extrude button. This I don't remember how thick that is. That's got to be 0.125 thickness. Okay, so it's highlighted in blue, 0.125. Enter. And I'm starting to see my shape. Okay, if I look at it here, it's starting to look good. Let's go back and see. We can put these 0.5 radius fillets in the two corners. That's easy. Okay, fillet tool right there. Pick that one. Pick that one. 0.5. Enter. Okay, there's more fillets that we need. We need a fillet right here, and it says typical. Typical means every fillet should be at 0.125. So the sides, the front, the inside, even that top. Okay, I don't think the sides are curved, but I'm not sure, but there's no way to see it. So I'm going to start with what I know. Okay, so if I do a fillet tool, and I'm going to select that one, 0.125. I'm going to select, let's just say OK. I'm try to turn it so it looks a little easier to understand. Okay, what else do we need to fill it on? The two sides, and the front, and the top. So if I go fillet tool, I'm going to pick that. I'm going to pick that. I'm going to triple click this 0.125. And I think that's what we want. I'm going to hit OK. Okay, and we've got a part that's starting to look really nice. I think the only thing we still need is, I'm going to try to turn it so it looks like our drawing. Whoa, if you go too fast, it just gets out of control. Can I get it to turn the way I want it to? Maybe I'll use the orbit tool. I always like the orbit tool better. I think it's easier to use for some reason. Okay, I want to get the two holes. There we go. Right there and right there. Okay, those holes are what we call counter bore holes. They have a countersunk head that accepts like a bolt, so it's flush with the top. Then it's just a hole all the way through. It says through right there. Okay, this countersink is 0.13 deep. It's 0.63 wide, and then the hole itself is 0.38 wide. Okay. These holes are not dimensioned from the edges, but if they do give you this dimension, if you go 2.25, 3.25, that means that this and this equals a half and a half. And see, this is not good dimensioning, because they really should locate that hole. But it looks like it's lined up with the center point of this arc. I know from doing this subtraction, this minus this, I know that this would be a ½ inch and that would be a ½ inch, and I'm going to assume that's a ½ inch this way, but I really should never have to assume from drawings. If I was building this in a factory, I would reject the drawing and ask for better dimensioning. Okay, but we're going to put a point here and a point there, ½ inch from the two edges, and we'll be ready to make holes. So again, new sketch right here. You want to use the point tool. You're going to do, now here it found the point. See it like it is jumping to the circle. So I'm going to mark it there. If I can find that little circle, I'm going to mark it there. If I want to double check my work, I can use the sketch dimension and just double check that this to the edge is a ½ inch. Okay, if I click that, it's going to tell me over constrained because you've already marked it at a ½ inch when you started. Okay, but that's how you can double check. Click that, that says 0.5. Okay, so we know that they're in the right spot. Finish the sketch. Then we're going to want to use the hole tool. Now this is different than the threaded tool we used last time. See, it defaults to the last tool we used. This one we don't want a simple. We want to have a counter bore hole, which gets you a wider top than the bottom. We don't want a tap, we want a simple hole. Okay, so it already looks right. I'm going to click that hole too, so we'll do them both at once. Then we have to check our dimensions, okay? The widest part of the hole is 0.63. It's 0.13 deep. Then the rest of the hole that goes all the way through is a 0.38. So you want to make sure that first of all you go not distance, you go through all. So the hole goes all the way through. See, it's all the way through. The 0.63 is there because I did it previously. This is where I can change the depth of this countersink. I don't care about this angle because it's going to drill all the way through anyway. This needs to be 3/8. So this should be, I don't know why that's not 3/8, but 0.38. Okay, so 0.38, 0.63, 0.13, all the way through. Hit OK. I have two beautiful holes there. I think that's done. So I'm going to save it. I'm going to call it, what do they call that? Brace wheel support. So I'm going to call it brace wheel support. Okay, make sure you put it again in the folder that you created for this project. And hit save. And we now have two parts. Okay. And then I'll do another video for the rest of the parts.